Hi, we're here at Summer NAMM 2014 in Nashville. It's the first one of the morning. We're here with Carson on the Dave Smith Instruments stand, and he's going to show us the new Pro 2. So, Carson, what's it all about?
Well, it's a fantastic new instrument that builds on the technology of the Prophet 12 and then goes a bit further from there as well. So it's a hybrid monophonic synthesizer with an added paraphonic mode as well. So starting at the beginning of the signal path, we have 4 digital oscillators, again the same as the Prophet 12, though we've added a bunch of new super waves. So those have kind of detuned spread sound to them. You get that super saw sound, big dance music stuff. And so that's exactly the same as the Prophet 12. You have shape mod, oscillator slop, FM and AM all between the oscillators. And then you also have a character section following that has kind of a soft saturator, decimation, sample rate reduction, as well as air and girth, which are kind of high and low shelves with some harmonic excitement added.
Okay.
And so that's the very first point, and it's all in the digital domain, exactly like the Prophet 12. And then following that, we have a wonderful brand new filter path. So we have 2 independent filters, each with individual envelopes. The first filter is modeled off the original Prophet 5 low-pass filter. Sounds just big and fantastic. Go in and just sweep it all the way down. And then filter 2 is inspired by the state variable SEM filter. So that'll do low pass, notch, and high pass, as well as band pass.
Okay.
And you can freely modulate between those. Another very interesting thing about the filters is that they can be arranged in serial or parallel. So you can drive filter 1 into filter 2 or run them completely independently and anywhere in between. And again, that's all modulatable as well.
Nice.
And so each filter has its own dedicated envelope, which is really, really handy. And then following that, you have your VCA, and that's the output path, pretty much. You also have the tuned feedback from the Prophet 12, which originated on the Evolver line of synthesizers. So that's basically your digital front end, analog filters, analog VCA, and then you just have a slew of modulation available as well. You have 4 LFOs, all slewable, syncable. You can assign them to pretty much anything on the front panel or any of the modulation destinations, which I think they're about 150 or so, just massive amount of modulation capability. Enough, we actually have 2 auxiliary envelopes aside from the individual envelopes for each filter and the VCA. And then we have our killer new sequencer, which is...
Right, do you want to show us that then?
Yeah, so the sequencer is a 32x8 or a 16x16 sequencer. You can easily just record notes in by hitting record, and entering some notes, and press play, and you have your sequence going. So a great thing about this is we added the ability to easily assign any of the parameters to a sequencer track. You can either just hold record, and just turn a filter, and that'll start recording into it, and you can really pretty much add anything you want into it. Whether it be filter, you can check out the second filter here. And then you could make them in serial and parallel. And then you can also select the tracks and see them and edit them per step. And you can also go in and add notes if you want. So you could go in and change a note here and change a note here and go back and play.
Okay, got it.
Another great part of this, you can't really see on the back here, but we've included a bunch of CV ins and outs. So 4 CV ins, 4 CV outs. Yeah. We also have 2 MIDI outputs. And any of the CV outputs or the MIDI outputs are addressable from the sequencer as well. So you can be playing the internal voice and then also sequencing an external CV destination an external MIDI destination.
And is that per track or per step?
That's per track. You can assign, MIDI 1, channel 1 through 16, MIDI 2, 1 through 16, or CV 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Okay.
We also have the same modulation destination, or modulation matrix from the Prophet 12, which is a 16x2 modulation matrix. Again, you can easily assign anything by holding the assign mod source. Click on your source, for example, an LFO, and then you could assign the destination to say oscillator pitch or cutoff. Let's do pitch here, and we'll turn up the amount. Yeah, it's a little crazy here as the There's the LFO affecting oscillator one pitch. Something I left out as well is we have the 4 tap delays from the Prophet 12, except that the 4th is actually a modeled bucket brigade delay.
Okay,
and that
great.
sounds really, really fantastic. You can just go in here and get something going. Pull up patch. And that'll just kind of keep looping. You have a couple different modes for that as well, which is a short and a long buffer. So you can make it a little shorter if you want. You almost get these reverb-like effects out of it, which is really, really nice. And all the delays are individually panable, and they have individual high and low pass filters per delay.
Okay,
so
and that's all addressed through the screen, presumably.
That's all addressed through the screen. We have this fantastic OLED display that was first brought on for the Tempest drum machine, and then used on the Prophet 12, and that makes it really quick and easy. There's a lot of functionality on this that we didn't necessarily have room for every single last knob, but every parameter is basically, a click or two away. So if you wanted to get to the character section, you just hit the character button and then click on the appropriate tab that you want to go through. Another addition to the Pro 2 is we have an external audio input that has an envelope follower and threshold, and you can assign that with peak hold or an envelope follower to, again, any of the modulation destinations. We have the pressure and position sensitive sliders that, again, started on the Tempest, Prophet 12, made it way on here, and they're just another great way to add a lot of performance and tactile input besides, typical pitch and mod wheel, which is, of course, there as well.
Excellent. So how much is it going to cost then, and when's it going to be shipping?
We expect it to be shipping late July, early August, with a estimated map of $19.99.
Okay.
And yes, the fun thing we added for oscillator paraphonic mode is really sophisticated in that each of the oscillators actually gets its own envelope, which is assigned from the VCA envelope to those envelopes, to the oscillators. So if I go to a paraphonic patch here, pretty loud here. And then you could say, change the envelope for those.
I see, yeah.
So it's a really kind of sophisticated way to look at the paraphonic operation that really makes it feel like a poly in some respects. But it's just a really, really fun instrument. It's hard to pull yourself away. You'll lose a lot of time on it.
Yeah, I bet.
Hopefully not jobs.
Okay, well, thanks very much for showing us that, Carson. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you, Will. Great to have you.
Cheers.